Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And today's episode is all about moving into leadership and leading when you don't feel ready. So I wanted to share this because this is something that I'm literally going through at this moment and have been dealing with some of these feelings for a few months now. So I wanted to start with talking about why most leaders struggle after their first initial growth phase. And it happens because the skills, the mindset, and strategies that help them to grow are often not the same ones that are needed to sustain and scale that growth. And here are the top reasons why. First of all, those leaders are still operating as if they are a top seller and not a leader. They're in sales positions. Now, if you're familiar with the corporate world, this happens all the time. The top salesperson gets moved into a managerial position because they think, well, this person knows how to sell, so they know how to teach others to sell. And that isn't always the case. Sometimes the salesperson is best left in the sales position. But in network marketing, we don't get moved to that. Well, sometimes we do, but mostly we earn our way into it. And so what this often happens is we've done a lot of personal effort. We've been hustling and selling and enrolling and hustling and selling and enrolling and hustling and selling and enrolling. And over time, what that does is it begins to grow a team. But in order to really begin to scale that team, leaders have to shift from doing to developing. And this transition can be really hard if they don't know how to coach, delegate, or inspire other people effectively. The second thing that stands in the way of leaders and their growth is that their mindset hasn't evolved into their role. They may still be thinking, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself. So oftentimes they will be the person who does all the things. And I've got to be honest, this is something I struggled with in the past. It was something that I did quite often many years ago because I didn't yet trust others. The other thing that may happen in somebody's mindset who hasn't fully moved into like true leadership is they're afraid of being seen as bossy or pushy. But what ends up happening is those limiting beliefs sabotage leadership before it ever really begins. The third thing that leaders struggle with is they don't know how to identify and develop other leaders. They look for the eager team member and not necessarily the qualified one. They don't know how to spot coachability, drive, and consistency. So they just keep investing in people who aren't truly ready to lead. The fourth thing that happens that leaders struggle with is that there are communication gaps within the team. The leaders are unclear, they're inconsistent, and they don't necessarily tailor their communication styles to match the different DISC personalities or DISC behaviors who are on their team. And so what happens is there's misalignment, frustration, and even disengaged team members. Now, I will say this is something I'm working through right now, and I'll tell you that story in just a moment. The next thing is that leaders haven't necessarily built their leadership identity. They're still winging it instead of stepping fully into their role as a badass, respected, visionary leader. Without that identity shift, they are second guessing their decisions and they actually lose influence in those times. Now, the other thing that happens is they don't have clear systems or culture. So a leader will hit a ceiling because they're trying to manage growth. Well, the best analogy is duct tapes and post-its, right? This is not a duplicatable system, right? You can't go through and teach people what you're doing if you don't even know what you are doing. So without a duplicatable system or a strong team culture, growth is going to stall and turnover will increase. And finally, many leaders struggle because they fear losing the momentum they once had. Ironically, they really cling to what used to work instead of embracing new strategies that match the next level of leadership necessary. Now, as leaders are moving through, some of the mindset issues that they're dealing with really come from a myth of most people believing, or leaders or aspiring leaders believing that they have to be fully ready to lead. But really, the myth behind being fully ready to lead is this: you have to know everything, have it all figured out, and feel 100% confident before you can step into leadership. And that's total BS. And here's why it's a myth. First of all, fully ready is a moving target. Leadership is truly growth in motion. Every time you level up, there's something new to learn. There's a new skill, a new behavior, a new mindset. And if you wait until you feel perfectly prepared, you'll be waiting forever, and your team will stay stuck. Secondly, confidence doesn't come before leadership, it comes from doing it. The belief that leaders are born ready keeps people sitting on the sidelines. It is complete and utter bullshit, because here's the thing: all of us were born with the same skill set: sleep, eat, cry, pee, poop. That's it. That was our whole skill set when we were babies. So that means that if someone is a great leader, they learned it along the way. It is a skill. So, really, the truth is, real confidence builds when leaders take messy, courageous action, even if their voice shakes, or they forget what they were going to say halfway through, or they make a mistake. It's okay. It's totally okay, because there aren't natural born leaders. We've all made mistakes along the way. Also, this fully ready myth fuels imposter syndrome. Leaders think, if I don't know how to coach everyone, I'm not ready. If my team isn't crushing it, I'm not a real leader. If I still get nervous talking to people, I'm not leadership material. But here's the badass truth: you're not supposed to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to figure it out alongside your team. Great leaders will also grow through the challenges. The best leaders aren't the ones who avoided struggle. They're the ones who showed up during the struggle and shared the lessons afterward. Your team isn't looking for perfection. They are looking for someone real that they can trust. And let's keep it real. Nobody's perfect. So, for leaders to expect perfection, or to expect that their team expects perfection, is really what ends up holding some people back from really jumping into the leadership that they were designed and destined to do. So, ultimately, the bottom line is, you become a leader by leading. Not by waiting, not by overthinking, not by earning a gold star from your upline. Trust me, I've earned plenty of those. That's not what made me a leader. You're never fully ready. You just decide to show up and grow into the badass leader that your team needs. Now, if you don't have a team, or even if you have a small one, or maybe you've got a big one, the first team you have to lead is yourself. Leading yourself first means becoming the kind of person that you would want to follow before you expect anyone else to follow you. It's about taking radical ownership of your mindset, your habits, and your integrity. So your leadership isn't just taught, it's modeled. So here's how to lead yourself first. You have to, number one, know your vision and remind yourself of your vision often. If you are not clear on where you're going, how can you expect your team to follow you with confidence? Define what you're building. Revisit this whenever your motivation dips, because motivation, y'all, is like showers. You got to do it every day. So check in with your vision when you're not feeling motivated and speak your vision out loud and speak it often. Remind yourself what your vision is, and you will want to follow that. You will stick with it. Secondly, do the work before you ask others to do it. If you want your team to show up daily, are you showing up daily to your business? So show up daily. If you want them to prospect, post, or follow up, then you damn well better be doing it too, because leadership is not about perfection. It's about alignment. You've got to be doing the things, because if they don't see you doing it, if you don't see you doing it, you're not going to feel comfortable asking others to do the same. Make sure you create structure and discipline for yourself, especially for when no one else is watching. High performers don't wait for motivation, they run on commitment. You've probably heard my episode with Jordan Adler before, where he said, I do what I commit to, not how I feel. So, what does that mean? That means set regular business hours for yourself or business minutes. If you don't have hours, set 15 minutes, 10 minutes to do income producing activities. Plan your week. Go through, look at what's happening this week, and check and see what are the things that need to get done now, and then follow through. Now, here's the thing. If you already have a team, they may not see what you're doing. So, in other words, share it, but they'll definitely feel the progress and the productivity that you are feeling and creating for yourself. Leading yourself also means keeping in check your self-talk. Your inner critic is not your business coach. Would you follow someone who talks to themselves the way that you talk to yourself? No. So it's time to clean that up and lead your inner dialogue. You also want to make sure you track your actions, not just your intentions. Leaders measure what matters, whether it's reach outs, follow ups, presentations, demos. You know your numbers. When you track it, you own it. So, for example, what I used to do, I knew my company's formula for success. I was with a party plan company, so it was 5 parties, 1 team member. 5 parties, 1 team member every month. So I tracked it in my planner, because back in the day I had a paper planner. Oh my God, I know y'all are probably, some of those who know me really well are having a heart attack right now, but this was before digital. But I had a paper planner. And at the top of the paper planner, I had 5 and 1 at the top of every month. And as I had a party and put it into the system, checked it off, made it 4. When I enrolled someone, ticked it off. Now everyone that I enrolled after that was a bonus. And I kept track of it every single month. How many parties was I doing? How many new team members was I enrolling? When I moved to a digital calendar, I kept a Post-it note on my refrigerator. 5 and 1. That's all it was. Just a simple Post-it note. And as I put in a party, I'd go to the refrigerator, cross out the 5, make it a 4. I tracked what mattered. And that was it. Didn't matter how many times I posted online. What mattered was how many parties I entered, how many people I recruited. Next, you've got to make sure you invest in your growth as a leader. If you, as a leader, need help becoming a leader of you, invest in your growth. This means hire a coach, read a book, do the course, listen to more podcasts, get feedback. But you can't lead people further than you yourself are willing to grow. In order to lead yourself, you also have to make sure you protect your energy. Say no to the drama, set boundaries with any energy vampires, feed your mind, move your body, do the meditation. Hint, hint, something's coming. Your vibe sets the tone for your tribe. When you lead yourself first, your team feels it. They will mirror your habits, your energy, your consistency, and your confidence. If you want to lead a team of badass builders, then fucking be one. That's all. I mean, it's not hard, people, right? So let me share with you what's been going on with me personally in my own life behind the scenes here. So for the last few months, I have in my BNI world stepped into the role of secretary treasurer in my chapter. Now, I was not supposed to be the first person who was going to be the secretary treasurer for my chapter, but life happened and the universe said, "Oh, Jenny, you want to learn about how to handle finances? Here, handle the finances of 35 other people." And I stepped up to the challenge. It was scary, but I set up systems, processes. I moved what was a paper driven system from the previous secretary treasurers before me, moved it to digital so I could do it anywhere. It didn't matter. I set up regular time every single week for me to do my secretary treasurer things outside of the meeting that needed to be done. And because of all this, I've been asked to be the president of my chapter for next year. Now, this is something that I've done before, but still, the chapter that I led 10 years ago was not as big as the chapter that I'm in right now. So my first thought was, okay, I guess I'll do it. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I've done it before. I can do this. I can do this. And before I'm even official, there's already some challenges that are presenting themselves. There are some people who are concerned about me stepping into leadership because, well, I don't really know why. Nobody's given me a specific reason why, although one person did tell me why. And what she said to me was, she was concerned that I was going to make too many changes all at one time, that there was going to be a big shift. And I was able to reassure her because she was willing to share with me. I was able to reassure her that, look, I'm running my own business, running my podcast. I have kids. I'm a single mom. I don't have the energy or nor am I able to put forth the effort to change the course of the Titanic quickly. So my goals, so then remember I told you about sharing the vision? I had sat down and come up with my vision and what I wanted to see and what I could tell that this group of people needed at this point in time, which is a better experience. So I took a look at what is that? What is the better experience? Well, honestly, I'm not going to know until I talk to people. So by sitting down and meeting with the members, I'm able to learn what is the experience that they would like to have. Well, hopefully you as a leader will do the same with your team members. What is the experience that they want to have in this business? What is it that they're looking to accomplish? Right? I also took a look at not only for the experience, but taking a look at how do we keep the people who are around? Well, if we help people have a good experience, then keeping them around, team retention, Because if you want to grow a team, you have to keep the people you've got. You can't have this rotating door of one in, one out, one in, one out, one in. There will never be growth if that's the case. So by working on the experience first, retention, fingers crossed, will improve. And then we can look at growing. And here's the really key piece, because what I'm about to say is as true in network marketing as it is in a B&I chapter. Growth for the sake of growing is not helpful. What is helpful is looking at who are the people in the group who need others around them in order to be successful. And who are those specific people that they need in order to be successful? So in the case of B&I, it's taking a look at the members and seeing who has a number of referral partners who can support their business. If they don't have enough referral partners, we're going to look at adding those referral partners so that they get what they want from their experience. In the world of network marketing, what that looks like is the people who identify as wanting to be leaders. In order to be leaders, you get to help them lead themselves and then help them grow their team, retain their team members, teach them how to coach, teach them how to lead. So hopefully that helps, because I'm right now going through my own leadership growth spurt. So in order to help me get better at that, I created a guided meditation for myself. So if you, like me, have been playing small or been doubting your impact, I invite you to listen to the Embodying Badass Leadership Meditation. It will reignite your belief and help you call in what is next. So go to badassdirectsales.com/badass leadership meditation in order to sign up. And of course, the link is in the description of YouTube and in the show notes of your podcast app. So thank you so much for listening here. I really hope you found this to be helpful. Reach out. Let me know. I'd love to hear it. But if nothing else, I want you, if you want to be in leadership, to listen to that guided meditation. I invite you to check it out today. And Badass Crew, stay tuned, because you know what's happening. There's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.